Hi friends, this is Dr. S.K. Pandey with a new topic, One Nation, One Election. Friends, we know very well that elections are one of the most pivotal qualities of a country's governance. And we know very well that the success of a democracy largely depend on free and fair elections anywhere. We know very well that the elections for Lok Sabha, which were held a few months back, we found that crores of voters, they voted and definitely strengthened the world's largest democracy. It's not so easy to conduct and manage these huge elections. There is an important news that the Union Cabinet has given its consent by clearing the proposal on the One Nation, One Election bill. Most likely, the bill would be introduced in the upcoming winter session of Union Parliament. The main objective of this bill is to synchronize both Lok Sabha and state assemblies elections in the single schedule. We are well acquainted with the fact that almost every year elections are held for Lok Sabha or Vidhan Sabha or local bodies. Dear listeners, you are well aware that this bill is based on the recommendations made by the former President Ramnath Kovind-led high-level committee. The committee concluded that elections time and again are a burden on the country and impact various facets like development process, etc. It took 191 days for this high-level panel to compile the big report in 18,626 pages, having consulted many stakeholders. The panel recommended that the simultaneous elections should be conducted in two phases. In the first phase, the simultaneous polls would be held for Lok Sabha and state assemblies. The second phase would involve the elections of local bodies like municipalities and panchayats within 100 days of general elections. The panel further recommended that a common electoral roll should be made by Election Commission of India in coordination with the State Election Commission. Presently, both the Election Commission of India and the State Election Commissions have different roles in the electoral process. The Election Commission of India conducts the elections for Lok Sabha and state assemblies, while the State Commission oversees the panchayats and municipalities. The panel has also recommended a total of 18 amendments to the Constitution of India. These amendments would also require the rectification of half of the states of India. On the other side, the Law Commission is expected to release its own report on simultaneous polls soon. This has a strong support of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. It is also indicated that the Commission may recommend holding simultaneous elections for all three levels of government: the Lok Sabha, state assemblies and local bodies, starting in 2029, along with a provision for a unity government in situations like a hung assembly or parliament. This is not for the first time that such efforts are being made in the direction of simultaneous elections. The idea of one nation, one election was first proposed in the 1980s. The Justice B.P. Jeevan Reddy headed Law Commission had in its 170th report in May 1999 said that we must go back to the situation where the elections to the Lok Sabha and all legislative assemblies are held at once. According to an official website of Government of India, from 1951 to 1967, The elections for the Lok Sabha and state assemblies were held simultaneously on most of the occasions. But this cycle was interrupted after 1967. The Law Commission, led by Justice B.P. Jeevan Reddy, stated in its 170th report that the cycle of elections every year and in the out of season should be put an end to. We must go back to when the elections to the Lok Sabha and all the legislative assemblies were held at once. The rule ought to be one election once in 5 years for Lok Sabha and all the legislative assemblies. On December 27, 2015, the Parliamentarian Standing Committee on Personal Public Grievances, Law and Justice had submitted its report on feasibility of holding simultaneous elections to House of People, that is actually Lok Sabha, and state legislative assemblies. This parliamentarian committee was headed by Dr. E.M. Sudarsana Nachiyappan. The committee came to the conclusion that simultaneous elections are in the interest of country because they not only would save money, which is massive for the conduction of separate elections, the imposition of model code of conduct time and again affects the pace of development adversely. This puts extra burden on the human resource that is deployed to conduct free and fair elections. Besides, on August 30, 2018, the Law Commission of India had issued its draft on the same issue, that is the simultaneous elections in the country. This Law Commission was chaired by Justice B.S. Chauhan. The Commission was of the opinion that the simultaneous elections are not possible within the existing constitutional mechanism. It is prerequisite to make suitable amendments in the Constitution. Besides, amendments are also required to be made in the Representation of the People Act 1951 and the Rules of Procedure of Lok Sabha and State Assemblies. One of the most important recommendations of this commission was that such amendments as are made to comply the process of simultaneous elections, at least half of the state must rectify the same. The commission too was of the opinion that such efforts would reduce unnecessary burden on the state machinery while saving time and money. It is said that in 1983, when Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister of India, similar proposal was put before her, but she had rejected the idea. There are two facets of one nation, one election. On the positive side, it will save time, energy, and resources, while on the other, the critics believe that the idea of simultaneous elections appears to be attractive, but in reality, it's not possible. It will save money, human resource, and a lot of time. We know very well that the application of model code of conduct obstructs the routine functioning of government. This will reduce the frequency of its application, no doubt about it. But on the other side, there are negative views on its implementation as well. There is a fear that the one nation, one election scheme would reduce the autonomy of states. This can go against the basic concept of federalism in India and can also promote the tendencies to dominate or the centralization. Opposition says that the one nation and one election requires fundamental changes in the constitutional structure. So that's it from me today. Thank you so much for listening to me.